to the DK in Combat podcast.
So, now we know something important. Not every thought is yours. Not every belief belongs to you. Not every fear speaks the truth. That raises another question. If these thoughts aren't really me, then why do they control me so easily? Have you ever think about that? Think about driving. Have you ever driven somewhere so many times that you suddenly arrive and don't even remember that journey? Happens to me all the time, and I am sure happens to you also. You stopped at traffic lights, you changed lanes, you avoided other cars, you followed the road perfectly, but afterwards you couldn't remember half of it. Your body was driving, your mind was somewhere else. We call that autopilot. Now imagine, what if most of your life is being lived exactly like that? Not just driving, your reactions, your conversations, your habits, your anger, your fears, your decisions, all are on autopilot. One of the themes that keeps surfacing in the early chapters of The Mirror is that much of what we experience as our normal way of thinking is actually conditioning running beneath conscious awareness. The author invites readers to become aware of that programming rather than letting it silently direct their lives. When I heard that, I immediately, I immediately thought about martial arts. Every beginner fights with emotions. Someone throws a punch, they close their eyes. Someone pressures them, they panic. Someone lands one clean shot, their entire game disappears. Why? Because they are reacting, not responding. That's a big difference. They are letting instinct, not awareness, take control. But then something amazing happens after years of training. The punch comes, the body moves, the breath stays calm, the eyes stay open. The reaction has become intentional instead of automatic. The situation did not become easier. The person become more aware. And that's a lesson for bigger than fighting. Because life throws punches too. Someone insults you, immediately anger. Someone criticizes your work, immediately defensive. Someone ignores your message, immediately overthinking. Did they reject me? Are they upset? Did I do something wrong? Look how fast the mind writes an entire story. Not facts, stories. Humans love stories. And once you believe the story, your emotions begin acting as though it's reality. That's one of the biggest traps we fall into. We don't react to reality, we react to our interpretation of reality. Two people lose the same job. One says, "My life is over." The other says, "This might be the opportunity I have been waiting for." Same event, different inner world, different outcome. That's why I believe one of the most powerful abilities a human being can develop is not physical strength. It's not intelligence. It's not even discipline. It's awareness. Because awareness creates space. Instead of this happening, event, reaction, awareness inserts something in the middle. Event, awareness, choice. That tiny space changes everything. One of the practical invitations the author gives is to being observing your thoughts instead of immediately believing them. Simply noticing recurring patterns in is presented as the first step towards changing them. Because you cannot transform something you never recognize. This is something I learned in NLP also. That whatever is the issue, try to observe as a third person. Because when you distance yourself, when you separate yourself from the issue, then you are no longer reacting, you are observing, and then it helps you to learn and understand the solution better. I actually use something similar with my clients. Sometimes after training, I'll ask, what were you saying to yourself just before you gave up? Most people don't know, they never listen. Then they start paying attention. I said I could not. I told myself I was too tired. I convinced myself that way was impossible. Interesting, because the body hadn't failed yet. The conversation had. I have a client I always ask to relax, and always the same answer I get. If I could, I would. And I always reply, you can and you could. So you should. Now imagine applying that to marriage, business, parenting, faith, health, every area of life. How many times have we surrendered? Not because reality defeated us, but because the story inside our head did. Do you understand? We are not lost in reality, but we already gave up in our head. Here's a challenge I want to leave you with before we move forward. For just one day, be curious. Don't try to fix yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't pretend to be positive. Just observe. Because this is the thing with people, including me. When you ask them to be positive, they start saying stuff. Oh, I am positive, I'm grateful, I'm this, I'm that. But the feeling is same. The feeling is not changing inside. And if it's not changing inside, whatever you are saying from the tongue has no value. Do you understand that part? It's not what you say from your tongue, it's what you feel in your heart and mind. What's your emotional state when you are saying it? If you are excited, if you truly believe, if you feel joy, if you feel happy, if you actually feel grateful, then it's better to talk with your tongue, and then it matches and it synchronizes your inner state with your words. Listen to your own mind the way you would listen to someone else's conversation. We are very eager to listen to stories of other people, but we never sit with ourselves and try to listen to our own thoughts. That's what you have to do. Solitude. Not solitude, leave the world and go in the caves and live like a monk. No. Solitude means observe, sit with yourself, listen to your own thoughts, listen to the conversation happening in your own head. Notice which sentences repeat in your head again and again. Notice which fears always return to your head. Notice which beliefs show up every morning. What is it that you believe and you are stuck on that belief that you want to change but you cannot? And you're always saying, oh, I am like that. No, you are not. Try to observe it. Because the patterns you notice today might be the same patterns that have quietly been steering your life for years. And here is the beautiful part: the observer is never trapped by what it observes. The moment you became aware of the pattern, you're no longer completely inside it. You understand? You're beginning to step outside of it. Why? Because you are no longer emotionally attached to it. Because as an observer, you are not part of it. You are watching, you are observing from the distance. So when you're beginning to step outside, that's where real change starts. Not when life changes. When the one experiencing life begin to wake up, that's where it starts. So for you, the exercise is observe your thoughts. Spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you have more time, 20 minutes. If you are having anxiety to sit for too long, okay, 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes. Observe your thoughts. Synchronize yourself with your mind. Become an observer, not the person who reacts. Think of it as watching a movie. When we are watching a movie, we are watching it from outside. We are not inside the movie. So, regardless of what happened in the movie, it does not affect your life. So, same like that, observe your thoughts. Sit outside of your thoughts. Learn, watch, find out the patterns, find out the limiting beliefs you've been holding on for your life, and then work on it. This is going to be your exercise for this episode, and I'll see you in the next.